Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite brands, JHS. I've been rocking with JHS a while. I've had the Morning Glory. I've had the Kilt. I use it often. The Super Bolt, one of my all-time favorite drive pedals. But today we got two more from the JHS line. We're going to be talking about the JHS PG-14. This was my pickup from Black Friday. And Micah, what are you bringing to the table today?
I have the JHS Violet, which, by the way, is my first JHS drive pedal.
Come on. So first off, why this particular video? I think these two pedals have kind of been compared a little bit. PG-14 is typically described as like a distortion, drive, fuzz type thing. And then the Violet is also a distortion. The layout is a little bit similar. They both have pink knobs. It's like, you know, similar. But I think these two pedals are both very different. So with this video, tell you what it's not doing. It's not a which one is better, because they both have their own lane. I think this video, we're trying to find out, if you're in the market for a new drive pedal, which one's right for you? Is the PG-14 going to meet your needs a little bit more, or is the Violet? And so today we're going to be taking a look at that. I've had some JHS pedals on my board for a while now, so it's no surprise that I picked up another one. But Micah, why was this the one that made you go, maybe I'll try it out?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, JHS's Black Friday sale.
There
Everything
you go.
was 25% off.
Yeah, just had to add a little bit of temptation.
That was part of it. The other part of it is, man, this thing, like when they released it, just some of the demos sounded so good.
Yeah.
So good. And I don't really have, I recently picked up a Rev G4, which I like. But it's not quite like the distortion sound that I was looking for.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's like full on.
Yeah, so I was looking like, okay, I don't have anything in the distortion space. The demos for this sounded great. It was on sale, and it looks awesome. Look at that.
It does look.
It looks
really
so cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Lori Basilio made it sound great. And then what I think the final straw for me was just one of the unintended consequences of Josh Scott designing this pedal, working with Lori Basilio. It was intended to be a full-on distortion pedal, but a peculiar thing happened with the way the circuit was built. It's a really great sounding overdrive pedal too. So I've
seen that.
A lot of flexibility, a lot of cool tones that you can get out of this thing. So, and especially in the setting that you and I play in, a lot of times you need to be able to be flexible in terms of like what type of gain, what level of gain you need. So having one pedal on my board that covers that amount of ground, super helpful.
And that actually is pretty similar reason to why I picked up the PG-14. I've always seen it kind of described as a distortion and things like that, but in the demos it always sounded more like a fuzz to me. And anytime I saw people testing it out, they'd crank the push knob, and I'm like, that's not really the sound I'm looking for with my drive or with my distortion. So it felt like an in-between space. But recently I've been using my Super Bolt, and the kind of like the foot switch was cutting in and out. So I was thinking about maybe just getting a new Super Bolt. I've had it for years. It's like one of my first drive pedals ever, and it's just been on my board ever since. But then once I did more research, I realized that the top part of this pedal is just the Super Bolt circuit, but with the haunting mids kind of knobs here on the bottom. And I'm like, oh, I could get down with that. So I've seen it tested as a distortion pedal a lot, but I've used this a lot as my like stage 1 overdrive, just adding a little bit of kind of push in that edge of breakup zone, and I love it.
Okay, Ruben, let's figure out what we're working with here in terms of these two pedals. First off, tell us what you're playing there guitar-wise.
I've got a Fender American Professional with some Lambertone Blondies in it.
Okay,
Great
excellent choice, exquisite. Let's jump into it here.
Yep.
So let's hear that clean tone.
So here's my clean. Gosh, I love these pickups.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
They are very nice.
And that's
nice
so that's
snappy.
that's neck. Let's do bridge too. Go ahead and kick on the PG-14. Let's see what we got. Yeah.
Let me just talk to the people watching here on how we're set up here. So we got drive and push at about 9 o'clock. We got volume and mid about 12. Tone about 9. And then the mid frequency, which is that mid sweep knob, which is one of the things these two pedals have in common is they both have the mid frequency, mid sweep. So it's kind of nice because you can pick what frequency that you want to boost or cut with your mid knob.
So yeah, let me talk you through the features of this pedal. The top row is pretty normal. We've got volume, mids, and your drive. The bottom row is where we start to get a little fancy. We've got the push knob, which essentially it's a kind of a preamp into the drive section.
Okay.
So if you crank that up, if you start to get almost in that fuzz territory.
Gotcha. Okay.
If it's all the way down, the pedal's off. So you have to have a little bit. What I've been running it is I start with the push knob completely off, and then I roll it in until it starts to sound full, but doesn't like start to fuzz or get flappy.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of where I start it, and then I start adjusting like my drive sounds. So what I typically do is I have the mid frequency knob, which just controls the sweep of the mids knob. I'll have that up a little bit, especially with the telly. I'll take just a little bit of that high mid out.
Okay.
And I'll have the drive here, and I'll use it a lot for my kind of CCM.
Gotcha. So yeah, that is
just kind of a subtle stage one thing.
Yeah, let me hear the clean sound.
Clean. So when I dig in, it adds that without the pedal.
Yep.
Hear it?
Yeah.
So it gets me to that edge of breakup sound is what I've been using it.
Let's compare that. Let's tell you what. Let's do this. We're gonna flip over to the Violet and just do a similar setup with this. At least get an idea of what we're working with, relatively speaking. So, let's hear the PG-14 one more time. Okay, there's a neck pickup. Okay,
And with a little bit of like some triad stuff.
Okay, so let's hear the Violet here.
That's a distortion, man.
Yeah, that's
a
a
full
lot more
distortion.
driving. That's at about 9 o'clock in the game.
That's already in lead line territory.
Man.
Yeah. Man, that sounds good.
Yeah,
though.
well,
That
and one of the
sounds
things
real
about
good.
this pedal is the gain's at 9 o'clock now, and it's driven pretty well. But is the mid frequency and middle controls are actually before the distortion circuit, so you can really shape what that distortion sounds like. And if you roll off the mids, then you actually it's a much lower gain situation.
All right, let's see what that sounds like.
Yeah.
So what do we have here?
Yeah. So this is the same gain setting. I just rolled off the mids.
That sounds more like a
Yeah.
overdrive. Yeah. Woo. And a good overdrive too.
Yeah. Let's go. So let's bring the mids back up to where we're at.
Well, let's go back to the PG-14. Let's gain it up a little bit.
Okay.
Go ahead and
The 12
put me
o'clock?
12 o'clock. Let's take the upper mids up just a little bit and
Okay.
see how that sounds.
Those are about 10 o'clock.
Now,
That's nice too, yeah.
let's do the same thing, but crank the push knob a little
Okay.
bit. Let's see what that sounds
12
like.
o'clock on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when I crank it all the way up, what happens when you roll off the volume knob?
Cleans up pretty nice.
Yeah. See,
Cleans up really nice. Real nice.
That's the fuzz pedal coming out in it, right? You just,
now if I just roll that back a little bit.
yeah, see? I love that. So useful.
Yeah. These two pedals might be some of the most versatile drives that I've played.
Yeah. I just, it seems like, and again, this is my first JHS drive pedal, but I love how innovative these circuits are. Like
Yeah.
it's not like anything else that I've played anyway. Just sort of the way moving around, way he's moving around pieces of the EQ before the distortion circuit and the violet, and then the whole push, and then the mid frequency and mid setup on the PG-14 as well.
I think that's what kind of drew me towards JHS in the first place. It seemed like all of their drive pedals, they're not like one-trick ponies. Right? I feel like maybe if we had to just speak in generalities, maybe PG-14 could make like a great Super Bolt stage 1 drive all the way to like a fuzz type thing.
It's almost like with that one, it's like you have the far ends of the spectrum. Like, let's do this stage 1 gain, or let's just go straight to fuzz town.
Straight to fuzz town. Whereas the violet seems like the same thing, but stage 1 to full on distortion.
Yeah.
Which is like super cool. Well, let's try this. Let's try the violet.
Okay.
But let me hear the stage 1 kind of setup.
You got it. You got it, boss.
So sell me on it. So here's the clean tone. Oh, okay.
It cleans up nicely, man.
It does sound like a Morning Glory. It does have a little bit of that. Because if I had a... Let me make it. Very few distortion pedals
That's a distortion pedal. You say that, it's like, that's crazy.
Very few distortion pedals, if not any I've ever played ever. Could I be like, oh yeah, I could use that on like a funk line?
Yeah.
It's just wild. Yeah. It's just crazy to me.
All right, let's get dirty with it, man. Dirty with it.
So what's the extreme? Show me the extreme.
You got it. First off, I'm going to bring the mids back up.
Okay.
'Cause you got to have those mids in there to really push this thing. So I did not touch the gain pedal. So give us something here.
Okay.
Let's just see how that changes.
And for reference, let me get it off real quick. Let me just turn on.
So that's just me rolling the mids up, and now you're just in Crunchy Town.
Crank the gain.
We're going gain.
Yeah, Crunchy Town is
We're
a
in
town
Crunchy
I want to live in.
That's right. Now we're going to Distortion Central.
Yeah, Distortion Central. That is nice. That is real nice. Crazy.
Dude,
you can play James Brown all the way to Metallica with one pedal. They're both great. I would have I'm thinking I would maybe do PG-14 as my stage 1 and then the violet as my stage 2. But you could do the violet as your stage 1 and the PG-14 as your stage 2.
Yeah, it really all comes down to how do you use them.
Yeah.
There's a video where a release video where Josh and Lori Basilio were talking about this pedal, and it cuts to her pedal board, and she has two violets on her board.
It's a low gain and high gain.
A low gain and high gain. It's like
That
makes perfect sense because it does both of them. It doesn't just do them. There's a lot of pedals that can do those things, but it does them both really well. Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's start violet, stage 1, into the PG-14. So here's my clean tone. Now let me hear it with the violet as my stage 1.
Okay.
So kind of low gain setting. Okay. Let me hear it with the middle position on the pickups. I think that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
All right, so now PG-14, we got the gain kind of noon, but we added some upper mids. Let's hear what that sounds like.
All right, stage 2. Here we go.
Stage 2. Stage.
PG-14
Well, here, let's get the clean sound.
Establish the clean. Okay. Okay, and here we are coming in hot with the violet.
It's like having 4 pedals if you have both of these on your board. It's crazy.
Pretty slick. Yeah, I'm a big fan of both of them. So
it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. If you're looking for low gain, both of these are gonna fit the bill. If you want a fuzz option, in addition to that, PG-14. If you're looking for more of a distortion kind of sound, I would go violet.
Violet, 100%.
Yep. So both great pedals. I would put both of them on my board in a heartbeat.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
well, that wraps up another episode of Tone Nerds. We hope this was helpful.
Absolutely. Do us a favor, as always, like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, click the thumbs up anyway. And subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of exciting new content coming your way. Might have some giveaways coming down the pipeline, so you're going to want to know about those. Hit the notification bell so you will be notified of said content when it drops. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will see y'all soon.